I want you to keep this in mind during the next hour. It's an overarching question, and I would love for, at the end of this, if we only were to answer one question, this would be it. It would be, is what keeps us together stronger than what might pull us apart? I would like to start with the two pastors from Trinity Lutheran Church, Pastor Jane and Pastor Alum. It's a Cedar Riverside neighborhood church. Its newest immigrant members are primarily Ethiopian, as I understand it. The newest immigrants are not happy with the vote that took place.
We don't know. We're still working on this. It's true that Trinity is unique because we are diverse, not only in opinions. Pick any spectrum, and we've got folks way at the far end of each spectrum, especially homosexuality.
By the way, I am very conservative about the homosexual issue, not because I came from Africa, because I just believe what I believe. The vast majority in my congregation, yes, they are supporting, but the few American-born people, they are not. But the majority Africans, especially the Ethiopian Lutherans, they already left us because they are not agree with what taken place a year ago about the ELCA assembly. So yes, it hurts. The community hurt a lot, and they're just running away from ELCA. But the community that we serve in Trinity, they love the congregation. They don't have any problem with the congregation. Their problem is with the ELCA decision.
The piece that for me has been left out of the conversation is all of the people who are gone, who have been gone for a long time because they have felt that there is no way to be authentically themselves and to be a member of a congregation. And I know and love many of these people. It's easier for me to tell my church friends that I'm gay than it is for me to tell my gay friends that I'm in the church, because they see that as such a, why would you want to be part of an organization that doesn't want you? And having hung in there for my whole life, knocking on the door with a cohort of people in the same situation, I grieve to see people running out the door on the other side of the church just when I feel that real conversation is possible now, because we're acknowledged as part of the community.
I went to my pastor after that church-wide assembly to discuss these issues that were of concern to me, and I think his response to my concerns was the same response that several people have had when they did the same, and that was that I was invited to find another congregation because, as he said, you'll be more happy with someone that reads the Bible the way you do. And 45 years in that congregation, having been an adult, both a second grade Bible school teacher and Sunday school teacher, and taught for years adult education, I learned to teach the Bible in that congregation.
We are going to stay in the congregation because we've been there 24 years, and my wife has illness, and she needs to be where she's familiar with people and so forth. But when a new pastor comes, I tell him, I want you to be bold with me and outspoken, and I'll be bold with you and outspoken, and I guarantee you I won't leave.
In Matthew 22:38, the Pharisees came to Jesus and said, what is the greatest law? And he says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your mind. And then the second, which is like this, love your neighbor as yourself. And then Jesus went on to say, and the law of Moses and the teachings depend upon that love, that like love trumps in all these cases. And so I think that's what builds community, is if we see the law not as just a law, but in the face of love. And are we really acting out of love?
And one of the problems, I think, in this whole evolution was that a lot of people do not feel they had much of a voice at all. My own church is discussed very much not at all. I mean, Hope Lutheran is a very liberal church. I think the presumption is that everybody agrees. I don't, but that I feel is a presumption. And I'll probably stay there as a member after 40 years until I just don't want to anymore, and at this point I haven't reached that point.
Those decisions were just the last straw. They were just a manifestation or a symptom of a greater underlying problem within the ELCA. For those of us who are more traditional and orthodox in our reading of Scripture, we believe that there are some things that haven't changed over time. What we see happening is we see the ELCA becoming accommodating to the culture. And my understanding of the history of the church is it is by nature a counterculture organization.
You know, I do not believe homosexuality is a sin, but it appears that many congregations are elevating this one sin, if you're going to call it a sin, and using that to divide the church. There are many other sins. Why is this one being elevated and becoming such a divisive piece in our congregations? And I don't know the answer.
My understanding is that the ELCA lost 100,000 members during 2009. It lost over 200 congregations. There's a new church called the North American Lutheran Church being founded out in Ohio. So I think there's a lot more to be discussed than just community, because the community is going to change. It's going to change a lot. I guess depending on how this goes, but the ELCA can't lose that many members and that many congregations without being profoundly changed.